What's up, everyone? My name is Michael DeLu. All right, and I want to thank you for even clicking on this episode of my podcast. Before I get to the episode, I would just like to ask that if you aren't already subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, comment on the video because it helps me tremendously in obtaining my long-term goals. All right, enjoy the episode. Let's go! Yes! All right. Today is Tuesday, October 12th. This is episode 72 of PullUpDaTape. My name is Michael DeLu. I'm so excited to be recording and to bringing this podcast to you live. I'm recording from Los Angeles, California. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to whoever you are, whenever you hear this. I just want to appreciate you and shout you out for supporting. And let's just jump right into the podcast, all right? So as I stated earlier, like just a couple seconds ago, today is Tuesday, October 12th. So if today is Tuesday, that means yesterday was Monday. And if yesterday was Monday, that means it was Monday Night Football. And I can't wait to cover it, all right? So yesterday's game, honestly, I don't know what it is about all the primetime games this year that the NFL has scheduled. Like even yesterday's game that I didn't think was going to be a good game actually turned into a very, very tightly contested contest. And I was honestly just shocked at the outcome of the game. So I'm pretty sure so are Ravens fans, so I'm just going to jump right into it. The Baltimore Ravens now sit at 4-1 after defeating the Indianapolis Colts 31-25, okay? 31-25. And let me be the first to say, the Ravens were steamrolled. The Ravens got steamrolled for 3 fucking quarters. The first quarter, they got steamrolled. The second quarter, they got steamrolled. The third quarter, they got steamrolled. They entered the start of the fourth quarter. It was 22, if I'm not mistaken. It was either 22-9 or and then at a certain point in the third quarter, it was like what 22-3. So things weren't looking good. And eventually, like, and when things actually like where I felt like I don't think the Ravens are going to win this game is when Lamar Jackson turned the ball over and the Ravens were effectively down 25-29 with not like, and it just looked like, honestly, this game might get out of reach. They haven't really been able to muster up too much on offense for the entire game. So there's nothing that's going to lead me to believe that they're going to be able to correct this and figure it out because, you know, regardless of the record, the Colts don't suck. You know what I mean? The Colts aren't a bad team. They're not the best team, but they're not just a gimme win like my Jaguars are. They're not that bad. They're not the fucking Texans. They're not, who else is undefeated? They're not, I don't know. The Lions should have a win, but nevertheless, it is what it is. So at a certain point in the fourth quarter, the Ravens are down 16 points, and I don't know what happened, I don't know what happened, what clicked for the Ravens, but in the fourth quarter, they scored 2 touchdowns, and they converted two two-point conversions, okay? And when I say, and the crazy thing about all these touchdowns is they all happened so fast. The longest touchdown was the one in overtime, and that they scored in a walk-off touchdown, and that took 4 minutes and 36 seconds to happen. The other 2 that happened in regulation for them to cut the lead and then tie it, 3 minutes and 50 and 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Those are some fast-ass possessions. They were just gashing the defense, and these are like 76-yard drives, 70-yard drives. This shit they didn't get a short field and they just marched it. No, they marched the ball down the field in a matter of several plays. And then, like, imagine being on a Colts sideline just watching the lead disappear. Like, that's exactly what happened. The Ravens defense was atrocious. And I want to point that out because one of the things that I love about the Ravens is how disciplined they are on defense. They're for the most part they're a mistake-free unit. You don't like they're very well coached. Like John, is it Jim or John? Damn. No, it's John. Jim used to coach the Niners. John Harbaugh has been the coach of the Ravens since I was in like my freshman year of high school. That was like 2008. I'm 26 right now. So John Harbaugh's been the coach for the Ravens for, damn, what's the math on that? 13 years. 13 years. One thing about him is his teams are always well coached, well disciplined, and very good at tackling. And none of that was on display for the Ravens the first three quarters. That's why the game turned into, like, for example, Jonathan Taylor takes a screen pass to the crib. How often does that happen to the Ravens? And what does that display for you? Bad tackling, bad alignment, undisciplined, and just so many. I saw in the first, like I said, in the first. In hindsight, I guess it doesn't matter because they were able to win. But the Ravens should never put themselves in situations like that. If they play like how they did yesterday against the better teams, like down the stretch, down the heavier stretch of their schedule, they will lose games like that. Realistically, no, you're not supposed to fall down that much. You're not supposed to be unproductive on offense for that long, for that extended, elongated period of a game and expect to win. Like, that's just not feasible. And then even the way they scored, you're not going to always be able to score like that in a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plays after, you know what I mean? So, but nevertheless, all that shit is said in hindsight because the Ravens did actually win the game. Lamar fucking Jackson. Oh my God. Oh my God. We all know Lamar's an incredible athlete, and we all have seen, Lamar has shown, he's definitely has progressed as a passer since entering the league. The fact that he was even disrespected and told, like, oh, we're going to have you play. Yeah. I'm so happy Lamar said, fuck, y'all can suck my dick. I ain't lining up on the outside. I ain't none of that shit, nigga. I'm going to play quarterback in the NFL, and I'm going to be him, nigga. I'm going to be him. So what? Lamar Jackson, 37 of 43, 86% completion rate. 86% completion rate. That's unheard of, especially for somebody who's good. Oh, my God. That's probably the best completion percentage he's ever had. 442 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lamar's previous high for his career was 324 yards, and that probably was against probably Miami, like the beginning of the 2019 season. In the second half alone, like I said, his previous was 324. In the second half alone, he passed for 335. Lamar was out here looking like Patrick Mahomes. Like, I had to repeat the stat line again because I was just so shocked. Because as I was watching the game, I didn't think he was racking up this many yards. 37 of 43 for 442 yards and 2 touchdowns and an 86% completion rate. Jesus. And on top of that, he added 14 carries for 62 yards because that's what he does. One thing that was really disappointing is the fact that their run game is atrocious. Outside of Lamar, and I said this yesterday, I'm gonna keep preaching this and keep saying this shit. Your quarterback should never be your leading rusher. I don't give a fuck if it's Lamar Jackson, Mike Vick, Cam Newton. Like, eventually that needs to be corrected. That can't always be, like, he can't always constitute like the majority of your run game. Like, he has to be able to give the ball up to back because, like, not every game he's gonna be able to get loose and shake everybody. Like, we've seen games where Lamar Jackson is not able to go crazy or whatever. Like, their spies, the defense is throwing all types of different blitzes and schemes and zones at him and shit like that. Like, sometimes, I mean, in most cases, he'll be able to beat a one-on-one defender. But when you scheme for that properly, that's not always going to be. It's not always going to, I don't know. It's not always going to be there, in my opinion. I feel like the Ravens shouldn't rely on that. They should definitely make it a point and an emphasis to establish the run game besides his legs. Latavius Murray needs more touches. I understand that they are struggling in that department because, all the injuries that happen. And who knows, it might be different if J.K. Dobbins was healthy and whatever. But nevertheless, they have backs. They need to get touches, and they need to feature them in the offense. Latavius Murray only had 17 yards. Tyson Williams, 6 yards. Devontae Freeman, 1 yard. That's 24 yards on the ground amongst 3 people. Lamar Jackson had double that by himself. Come on now. That's unacceptable. That's not it. Mark Andrews had a big fucking game. 11 receptions for 147 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jesus, man. He looked incredible. It took him until week 5 to score a touchdown, and I think that's crazy. Hollywood Brown looked incredible as well. 9 receptions, 125 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Huh? There's no way. How many? Oh yeah, no. Actually, I'm lying. Lamar threw 4 touchdowns. I said previously he threw 2. Correction. I stand corrected. And let me get into. So, like I said, great team win by the Ravens. They put it together down the stretch. They scored 2 quick touchdowns. They got a blocked field goal. Shout out to Calais Campbell. The defense stood its ground. Actually, let me not say they stood its ground, because the defense on the very last possession, the Colts offense was able to march down the field. And if not for the kicker missing the field goal, which I don't know what it is about week 5 of the 2021 season, where all these kickers decide to start missing PATs, game-winning field goals. Like, it was the worst week the NFL has seen in over like the past 20 years for field goal kickers and place kickers and all that, because too many kicks were missed. In one game, it was like 7 different misses. So, nevertheless, I mean, I guess that's what made that, and that's what allowed the game to go into overtime for the Ravens to get the ball, march down the field, and win. I want to say this, and I usually don't give, usually I feel like that you can point out one quarterback outplayed the other quarterback, which is why his team won. That's not the case here. Carson Wentz, 25 of 35 for 402 yards and 2 touchdowns. Carson Wentz played his ass off. This is probably the best game I've ever seen Carson Wentz play in a blue and white jersey. The defense and the special teams just simply let him down. And the reason why I said the special teams, I threw that in there, is because of the simple fact that their kicker, Rigoberto Sanchez, if I'm not mistaken, like I said, missed the game-winning field goal, which allowed the game to go into overtime, and they lost because the Colts defense ran out of gas, ran out of steam, ran out of everything, and then the Ravens offense just marched down the field and scored right the fuck on them. Like I said, the defense lost steam and lost momentum, and their intensity and the pass rush essentially disappeared. You could see in the fourth quarter, Lamar Jackson was getting comfortable in the pocket. Lamar Jackson was getting comfortable in the offense. Lamar Jackson felt like, you know what, honestly, I'm finna, it looked like I was watching Austin Rivers highlight tape. I'm about to go off. I'm about to go off right now. And then Lamar Jackson proceeded to do what the fuck he did. Like, that's literally, as I was watching the game, I'm like, It just seems so fitting. Like, I'm about to go off. I'm about to go off right now. And that's part of it was, the Colts suffered some injuries on the back end of the defense, and also they were out there for extended amount of plays. Just because the Ravens offense wasn't scoring doesn't mean the Ravens offense wasn't scoring, but they were piecing together long drives for the first 3 quarters, but they never really amounted to anything. It was one that was a field goal. Lamar Jackson fumbled, just different things like that. But the Colts defense was out there for a significant number of plays. They ran out of juice. They ran out of offense, ran out of steam, and that is what led to what happening, honestly. And as I said before, his defense let him down. They lost momentum. They lost steam. The special teams let him down as well. Carson Wentz played his ass off. Jonathan Taylor played his ass off. He had 15 carries, 53 yards, a touchdown. He had 3 receptions, 116 yards, another touchdown. So that's over 160 all-purpose yards for him and 2 touchdowns. Marlon Mack had 5 carries, 47 yards. Michael Pittman Jr., oh my God, 6 receptions, 89 yards. He Debo'd a nigga for one of his touchdowns. Debo. And that concludes that. That was a really good game. Again, like I said, there's positive takeaways for both teams, and definitely things that both of these teams can improve on. I definitely feel like the Colts need to do better with finishing. I definitely honestly feel like, regardless, I still feel like the Colts are a good enough team to make the playoffs. I definitely feel like the Ravens will make the playoffs. The Ravens most likely will win their division. The Ravens are sitting at 4-1. It's really bad for the Colts right now because they're sitting at 1-4. Nevertheless, I think they might be the best 1-4 team in the league. I definitely don't feel like their record indicates how good they are. They, suffered a lot of close losses. Yesterday was a game they should have won. I mean, I don't know what the percentage or the betting odds were at one point in the fourth quarter, but they should not have lost the game the way they did yesterday. All right. So that's that. I'm going to get into my next topic, and I'm sorry to anybody who might not agree with how I feel about what I'm about to say next, but it is what it is. I'm a black man in this country. I'm definitely going to express how I feel and express my opinion. And my platform isn't big, but I'm always going to speak on any injustice, speak on whatever. And so let's get into it. So John Gruden, this story started on Friday. John Gruden's he's in a honestly, I guess you can honestly say John Gruden is being canceled, which I honestly don't have an issue with. When you do stupid shit, you win stupid prizes. You say stupid shit, you win stupid prizes. You say the wrong person. Okay, look, I'm not gonna teach anyone anything, but I'm just gonna emphasize the way of life. You say stupid shit to certain people, and certain things will happen to you. All right. You say something stupid to somebody like me or 50 Cent, I'm probably gonna punch you in the mouth. You say something stupid to your boss, he's probably just gonna fire you. You say something stupid to your cousin, depending on what your cousin is capable of doing. Like, you say, but nevertheless, the point I'm trying to make is you say stupid shit, you win stupid prizes. All right. And when you offend people and, just, I don't know, I don't really know how to, I'm gonna just go through my notes. All right. So this all started on Friday. I'm not even too sure exactly why this happened or how this started, but essentially what I took from what happened and what I read was there were some emails, specifically the first one that was, reported in the media, happened 10 years ago. So it happened sometime in 2011 when the NFL was damn near at odds with the players about the lockdown situation, negotiations. I remember that was like a very trying time for the league, and, the season almost didn't happen. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was Andy Dalton's rookie season, if I'm not mistaken. It was. So John Gruden, who at the time wasn't in any involved in associated with any NFL team in terms of like on their payroll or anything like that, I guess he had some strong words about DeMar Smith, who I think he has an intricate. I can't remember exactly what his role is, but he has an intricate role. I think he was representing the players in their best interests or arguing on behalf of the players. In an email, John Gruden said came out and addressed DeMar Smith using a racial slur to describe him, which honestly, the exact same thing has happened. I mean, no one said the exact same thing has happened to me, but I remember when I was in the I believe I was in the fourth or fifth grade, where a Hispanic kid drew a picture of me, and the picture had the picture of me had big ass lips. Like the lips were bigger than the actual body. I felt the way or whatever, but I mean, I try not to let that shit really bother me, because I mean, the person who drew that picture of me couldn't even fucking read. Like this person that I'm talking about, his name was Eric Garcia. So Eric was one of the cool kids, and I didn't realize how uncool Eric was until I heard him read in class. And when I heard him read, I literally wanted to slam my head against the table repeatedly, and just like in my head, I was just like, please make it stop. I remember at one point of him reading, he got to the word muscle. This stupid ass nigga said musical. And that's when I realized, yeah, I can only it is what it is. So he's, what Roger Goodell, no, not Roger Goodell, what's John Gruden actually said about DeMar Smith was that he has lips the size of Michelin tires. And when I heard that, I said, God damn, nigga, you out here roasting like that? That's a cold piece. The size of Michelin tires. Michelin tires are pretty big. That's a cold piece. That's how you feel? That's a cold piece, John Gruden. You slick like that? So, I didn't really pay too much attention to the story until, yesterday, when John Gruden was interviewed about the whole incident after the game, and they asked him, are there any more emails that, that contain, you saying some stuff that people might find offensive, and then he assured everyone that no, there's no such thing, which actually turned out to be a lie because just yesterday more emails came out that honestly were really, really bad and didn't paint him in the best light at all, like whatsoever. So, and I'm gonna get into some of them. So, the NFL found more emails and then they sent them over to the Raiders in the hopes that the Raiders would actually make the right decision and do the right thing and actually fire him. John Gruden said that he resigned, but I mean, I realistically he resigned. If he didn't resign, he was just gonna get fired. So what happened in some of the emails that were sent, and at the time he was not working for the Raiders. I'm gonna just summarize the gist of some of the shit. So there's like 6 different points. And in one of them, he tried to shit on the emergence of women as female refs. Like I said, a lot of his comments were homophobic, what's the word I'm trying to say? Homophobic, misogynistic, and racist, honestly. So the first one, like I said, tried to shit on the emergence of women as female referees. Another point in one of the emails, he said that Michael Sam being drafted in 2014 was just a fucking joke, and said that Roger Goodell should have never pressured Jeff Fisher into drafting that faggot. He said the NFL's tolerance for players protesting during the during the national anthem, he talked about that, said that anybody who did that should be fired. I mean, that's his opinion, but I mean, a lot of players can see something a lot of black players will read something like that and think like, bro, you're racist as fuck. That's what I take from it. Called Roger Goodell a faggot and a clueless anti-football pussy. And he said a lot of things and used a lot of offensive language to refer to NFL owners and journalists who cover the league, bashed Barack Obama, bashed Joe Biden as well. And honestly, he pissed off a lot of people when these emails came out. And essentially, like, they just felt like there's no place in the league for somebody like that. And to those people who say that, they feel like he shouldn't be punished for something that happened such a long time ago. The most recent email occurred in 2018, and the oldest one spanned back to 2011. So this is repeated behavior for over the course of fucking 10 years. And I mean, I honestly think that there's an issue with that. Because, I mean, if I had an employee that I hired to my business and I find out some stuff that they did a couple years back, whether they were employed with me or not, if it's not something that represents my brand or represents how I want my brand to be perceived by the public, I'm more than likely going to let this individual go. And it is what it is, honestly. So Mark Davis fired that bitch ass nigga. And the main thing that I take from this situation is if the Raiders didn't act quick and fire him and give him the ultimatum and let him go, the NFL was going to forcibly do some shit like that. Because honestly, this, in my opinion, isn't any bad from the Donald Sterling situation. Like, because it's simple. Like, the only difference is, like, the Donald Sterling situation, there was actually footage, recorded calls and shit like that. Like, we haven't seen any of the emails or anything like that. If they come out, like, I don't see how it's any different. Like, he made racist remarks. He made very misogynistic, gender offensive terms. Like, well, okay, like, why are you shitting on female refs? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, that's beyond me. It doesn't even make sense. And then, he made, like, he said a lot of things about Roger Goodell, called him a pussy, called him all types of shit, said a lot of things about various owners across the league that just offended people in the wrong way. And then there's, like, when you do stuff like that and you say certain things and call people certain things, it's no wonder why people would assume that you're a racist or you are what you are. And to be 100 and to emphasize why the NFL was so strict and would have done what they did, it's because, let's keep it 100. The NFL does not have the best track record with their public image. They have probably the worst track record among minorities in this country because of incidents that's happened in the past. Domestic violence, that's a normal thing for football players. There's too many niggas in the NFL that beat on their wives, punch on bitches, like, just beat on women. That on top of, the NFL scene, like probably like the biggest fucking plantation in like, I hear too many people refer to the NFL as like slavery, a plantation, like, the master, like it's no different from slavery and all this other stuff. So, like I said, the NFL is trying their absolute hardest to clean up their image. So anytime something like this like like spills out, and it's just definitely not what the NFL, like, look, think about it. Some teams and some players wear decals and stickers that say end racism, justice for all, equality, all types of shit. Like, how we all know how big the Colin Kaepernick thing is, and players protesting during the anthem and all that stuff. So for the NFL to be trying to clean up their image and show that they support their players, they stand with their players and whatever, which in reality I think is personally bullshit. When something like this comes out, the NFL has to, like, they have to get rid of people who are endorsing what they don't stand for. You know what I mean? Anybody who stands for racism, sexual assault, domestic violence, gender, just offensive comments towards the LBGQT community. It's just a no-no. Like, and the crazy thing is, like, John Gruden had a gay player on his roster, like, and then the Raiders lost this past weekend. I mean, you can't tell me that something that this didn't have something to do with that. Like, all the black players are probably looking at him like, bro, like, you're a weird ass nigga. You're a bitch. I honestly think John Gruden is a bitch. It is what it is. I don't feel bad for him. It is what it is. You play dumb. You say stupid shit. You win stupid prizes. You do stupid shit. You win stupid prizes. It is what it is. That's life. It's unfortunate. It's not unfortunate for him that he lost his job. He lost his job. It is what it is. I essentially probably have seen the last of the NFL ever associating with John Gruden. It is what it is. It's finished. It's done. Are we finished or are we done? On some Birdman shit. So my name is Michael DeLue. This concludes episode 72 of Pull Up the Tape. I'm so excited to be inching closer and closer to episode 100. Once I finally do get to episode 100, I got so much stuff in the bag that I can't wait to show the public and to release. And I definitely feel like I will experience so much rightfully earned and rightfully deserved growth to my podcast and to my channel, to my platform. Other than that, you guys stay blessed. Viral movie. Long live Kobe. Long live Gigi. Long live Pop Smoke. Long live Nip. And yeah, I'm out this bitch.